Here are 8 secrets of air traffic controllers. Welcome to the Shakaama Live Show with your host, Shakaama. We're taking this from the perspective of January 25th, 2019, as the United States enters into the second month of a government shutdown that began in December 22nd, 2018. Federal employee shortages are becoming an increasing problem. On the morning of January 25th, 2019, the FAA announced that due to air traffic control staffing shortages along the East Coast, they were halting flights into New York City's LaGuardia Airport. It's a potent reminder that while pilots and flight attendants are key to making air travel safe, air traffic controllers, though less visible, are just as essential in getting you from point A to point B. The Federal Aviation FAA employs more than 14,000 of them to choreograph the flow of airplanes on the ground and in the sky, whether that means using a radar or other tools to direct aircraft for takeoff, communicating with pilots about flight paths and weather, or helping pilots land their planes safely. Let's take a look at the secrets of air traffic controllers to learn about their unique lingo, high degree of job stress, and the occasional UFO sighting. Number 1. Many of them don't work at airports. When you imagine an air traffic controller, you probably envision someone working in a tall glass tower at an airport. However, many controllers toil at either a terminal radar approach control TRACON facility or at a route center, which may be located far away from an airport. According to air traffic control Chris Solomon, who controls planes for the military, controllers in each of the 3 types of facilities have different responsibilities. Quote, the typical tower controllers get the planes from the gate to the runway and then airborne to within 5 or so miles of an airport. The aircraft then becomes under the control of the approach controllers, TRACON, he told the website Air of Manliness. These TRACON controllers, if I'm mispronouncing it, I'm doing it on purpose. These TRACON controllers usually control the plane during its ascent and descent from the airport. When aircraft reach an altitude above 18,000 feet, the route center controller takes over, using radar to guide aircraft at cruising altitude until the plane begins its descent. Then the approach controller takes the reins, followed by a tower controller who guides the plane's landing. Number 2, age is a major factor. Some air traffic controllers begin their careers in the military, while others apply to the FAA Air Traffic Control Academy. But no matter how they enter the profession, they must have good vision, a sharp mind, and the ability to think quickly and clearly under pressure. The FAA requires that applicants be 30 years old or younger when they apply to the job, and controllers must retire at age 56 before most of them experience any age-related mental decline. Number 3, they have their own lingo. Pilots and air traffic controllers around the world must speak English to communicate. It's required by the International Civil Aviation Organization, but they also have their own flight-related language. This phonetic alphabet and numerical system, which replaces letters A through Z and numbers 0 to 9 with code words, minimizes confusion and misunderstandings between air traffic controllers and pilots. For example, controllers say Bravo instead of the letter B, Charlie instead of the letter C, Niner instead of the number 9. Theories explaining the origin of the code word Niner differ, but aircraft enthusiasts speculate that the extra syllable differentiates it from the German word for no, or distinguishes it from the pronunciation of the number 5. Air traffic controllers also have their own slang and, for instance, use the phrase souls on board to refer to the number of people on a plane. The phonetic system is spelled out in detail in the FAA Order 7 110.65 manual PDF, along with other key code words, phrases, and procedures. Controllers call the manual their Bible, study it during training, and review it regularly to keep apprised of any updates and additions. Number 4. Pilots with heavy accents can frustrate them. Although English is the official language of aviation, not all pilots speak it well, like me. Air traffic controller Brandon Miller, who works for Potomac Terminal Radar Approach Control (TRACON) in Northern Virginia, tells Mental Floss that it can be difficult to communicate with foreign pilots. Quote, "However, we are in the business of communication," he says, explaining that learning to solve potential communication issues is part of their training. When talking to a pilot who has a heavy accent, controllers may speak more slowly, enunciate words more dramatically, and try to avoid changing routes as much as possible. Stephen, an air traffic controller with the FAA, echoes Miller's point. Quote, "We mainly just complain amongst ourselves, say things very slowly, and do the best we can when dealing with pilots with heavy accents," he wrote in Reddit. Number 5. The alternate between stress and boredom. Because they're responsible for thousands of lives 24 hours a day, 365 days of the year, most air traffic controllers experience a high level of job-related stress. Quote, "We often miss birthdays, we work on holidays and weekends, and often operate on alternative sleep cycles," Miller explains. Staying focused is essential, especially during times of busy traffic and bad weather. So, most air traffic controllers take a break every hour or two, depending on the rules at their facility. According to Miller, the diversity of tasks in his work day keeps his job challenging. At any given moment, he may be directing Air Force One or other VIPs from our country or a foreign one, sequencing commercial passengers jets into a variety of airports in the Washington, D.C. area, assisting police and paramedic helicopters, expediting military fighters and military transport planes, or looking for suspicious aircraft in the Washington, D.C. Special Flights Rules area. On the other hand, a graveyard shift and periods with less traffic can be tedious and dull. Quote, "Hours and hours of boredom combined with moments of sheer terror, as we like to say," Stephen told Reddit. "But if you like the challenge and want to be where the action is, it's a great job." Number 6. They're probably overworked. In 2011 article of the Daily Beast, Bob Richards, who worked as an air traffic controller at Chicago O'Hare International Airport for more than 2 decades, described his job as thrilling, fulfilling, and utterly exhausting. Richards notes that 4 of his coworkers passed away of cardiac arrest, 2 passed away of pancreatic cancer, and many others suffered from stress-related gastrointestinal illnesses. In his early 40s, Richards himself suffered from atrial fibrillation, which eventually progressed onto congestive heart failure. A secret study conducted by the NASA in 2011 found that almost one-fifth of controllers made significant errors, partly due to chronic fatigue caused by their lack of sleep and busy shift schedules. To combat fatigue and address controllers who were allegedly asleep on the job, the FAA issued a series of new rules that increased the mandatory time between controllers' shifts. So they got a longer period of time that they didn't have to come to work. Number 7, UFO sightings definitely happen. During the course of their careers, most air traffic controllers have personally spotted or have a coworker who has spotted some sort of unidentified flying object. UFO sightings are more common at night when air traffic controllers may see an unexpected blinking light that doesn't appear to be coming from an aircraft. But strange sightings aren't necessarily alien life forms. Radar is so sensitive that it may pick up items such as clouds, flocks of birds, or even a large truck on the ground at night over the ocean at night. Number 8, robots won't be replacing them. Although air traffic controllers rely on radar and other technology to do their job, they're not in danger of technology replacing them at any time soon. With so many lives at stake, air traffic control will likely always require humans to ensure that automated systems function properly and technology doesn't malfunction. And controllers enjoy the sense of satisfaction that comes with using their knowledge and skills to help passengers get from point A to point B safely. Quote, there is a great amount of pride that my coworkers and I take knowing that safety of air traffic control is the last thing on passengers' minds when they get buckled in the airplane, Miller says. Now, I happen to know that they are in need of air traffic controllers. And when I say they are in need, I believe they are forecasting that they will not even be able to replace 1% of traffic controllers with new hires, and that they have really dropped the ball as far as new hires. Simply, it's a combination of not anything that they're doing, but people can't pass the test. People can't, people are not the appropriate age. People don't have the appropriate background. You do not need to go to college for this. They have their own schools that you must go to. Yes, you can come in through the military, but still you have to go through their school, regardless of the military. Now, I don't know if in the military you already go through their school, so somebody can speak on that in the comments below. But I know that they need people. So I am stressing, if you want to be making $125,000 a year, I think that's the medium income of air traffic controllers. Oh, let me point this out. Air traffic controller is in the top 10 ways, top 10 jobs whereby you can become a millionaire. So do not poo poo this video. Leave a like, leave a subscribe. We're going to talk about more things about how to become a millionaire with just a job. Thank you all for watching. I have merch. Buy merch. Merch is t-shirts, bags, backpacks, caps, tank tops for all of you all who need tank tops, types of shirts. I have 2 different merch stores. Thank you all for watching. Bye bye.